first up, part of being able to have a clear-eyed understanding as to what it is you're facing at any given moment is to be clear about the nature of the opposition that you're facing. Right? Like it's very difficult to do the work of building up what you need to build up if you're not clear about the nature of the entities that are trying to prevent you from doing that building. Right? If you got ops, you want to have a clear understanding as to the nature of your ops so that you're able to navigate your response, so you're able to protect yourself, so on and so forth. And one of the things that people, when they're trying to take power, when they're trying to become dictators, one of the things that they do is they have to convince you that they are more powerful than they really are. That's part of the game. You have to believe that the opposition that you're facing is so magnificent, so dynamic, so overwhelming that part of what they win on is your belief that they're unbeatable, that they're unstoppable. And sometimes, unfortunately, we can get caught up in news cycles and we don't necessarily read the fine print. We don't necessarily do the work of understanding the real nature of the challenges that we're facing. And so it can be easy to get swept up into this notion that they've got it all figured out. Like these are the billionaire boys, these are the apartheid bros, and they've got the money, they've got the computers, they've got all the things. But do they really? There are a lot of vulnerabilities there that we're going to have to be able to, one, know about, and two, think critically about how we can exploit them. And one group of people figured that out pretty quickly just last week. One of the challenges that DOGE has is that it's not a real entity. Like it is a made-up thing. The Department of Government Espionage, as one of the Nubians called it. But essentially, DOGE has pretended to be this on this truth fact-finding mission to find fraud, waste, and abuse, and to be very transparent about it. Right? That's what they purport to do. And they have this website, DOGE.gov, which really, as I heard Rachel Maddow say, could just as easily be pronounced doggy. Doggy.gov website that was supposed to be tracking the cuts that Elongated Muskrat is proposing to make to the federal government. Now, the thing about this website is when you think about Elongated Muskrat and SpaceX and all the Tesla this and the Tesla that, the idea is that these are very powerful entities. In fact, I remember when the Cybertruck was first released. Do you remember that when they did the whole presentation and they said that this was the most secure truck, armored vehicle, nothing could break it. It was super duper duper strong, stronger than the chariot that Jesus drove in. I mean, it was just strong. And then they threw something at the window to demonstrate how powerful the windows were, and the windows cracked. The way car windows do, it just cracked, and it happened not once but twice, and sort of peeling back the mystique about how amazing this Cybertruck was. And again, I think it is the ugliest vehicle I have ever seen. It looks like something created on Minecraft meets Roblox. Like it's this hideous. When I see them, I'm like, you had to know how hideous this vehicle looked before you got it. And it's got to be an ego thing, but whatever. This is no shade to Tesla owners. Y'all are facing enough difficulty as it is. But the idea behind the DOGE website, similar to the great reveal for the Cybertruck, was supposed to be that this is going to be an amazing site that's going to track all of this information, that's going to show you just how much fraud, waste, and abuse there is in the government. Now, we already have entities that show us how much fraud, waste, and abuse is in the government. That's how we know the Defense Ministry, for example, or the Defense Department failed 9 audits. The 7 audits, something like that, some crazy number of audits. And we know they failed those audits because there is transparency and we are clear. We have inspector generals in each major department that are able to determine where the fraud, waste, and abuse is at. And then they publish it. Right? We've known that the Department of Defense has failed all of its audits because of that very structure. But enters DOGE. And Doge.gov is a website that Elongated Muskrat put up quickly to show that how insecure the federal government is. And apparently the website that Elongated Muskrat and his band of flying monkey boys, the Lost Boys of the Confederacy, the website that they put up is itself completely hackable. DOGE.gov, according to 404 Media, a website that was spun up to track Elon Musk's cuts to the federal government, is insecure and pulls from a database that can be edited by anyone, according to two separate people who found the vulnerability and shared it with 404 Media. They go on to say that one coder added at least 2 database entries that are visible on the live site and says that this is a joke of a .gov site. And another line says these experts left their database on. They were able to hack into Elongated, Muskrat, and the Flying Monkey Boys website. They were able to edit the content on the website and basically clown the website on the website. According to the report, Doge.gov only was put up after Elongated Muskrat told reporters like last week that Doge was trying to be as transparent as possible. They quote him as saying, the Department of Governmental Espionage, he said efficiency, is, quote, trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website, end quote. Now, at the time, there was nothing on the Doge website. It was a blank page. That blank page didn't get built out until days later, and it basically just shows you a reflection of what Doge has posted on X, on Twitter, along with a bunch of different statistics about the federal workforce. Now, according to the report, there are 2 web experts who are reporting anonymously because they are probing a federal website. They told 404 Media that this website was built on a Cloudflare Pages site that isn't hosted on government servers. And the database that the website is pulling from has been written to by third parties, and the content that the third parties write to the database will now post on the website because it's not secured. Aren't these supposed to be the internet geniuses? Aren't these supposed to be the people who, like, the masters of the universe? They're not that bright. They left the complete back door open for anybody who knows how to edit these things to come in and edit the website. And we're supposed to believe that these people have the capacity to determine anything about government. According to the reports, they said that they were able to, these third parties, they were able to push updates to a database of government employee information, which means they have the capacity to manipulate the information about the employees of the federal government. They were able to essentially manipulate Doge's site from Doge's own back door. Like, they are in the room. And these are the people who are supposed to be running things. Then we find out from ProPublica, which remains one of my favorite white-owned media outlets, that according to the latest reports, the agencies that were regulating SpaceX are now being regulated by Elongated Muskrat. The jokes write themselves. I wish I were a comedian, because then I would have an entire sketch on this whole thing. According to the report, Elongated Muskrat is now got his eyes and his sights on the FAA's Commercial Spaceflight Office. This is the office that had proposed fines and remember I told y'all before that SpaceX, when they had that explosion, the federal government was like, what you're going to have to do is sit down. You can't fly no more. Because not only did that explosion put people on the ground at risk with flying debris from Elongated Muskrat's exploded boy toy. It's like one giant rocket dildo, like just exploding all in through the air. And that those pieces of the rocket dildo were then dropping onto people on beaches. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But people all throughout Turks and Caicos had to hide from the SpaceX dildo explosion. And then we find out that it wasn't just the people on the ground, but other planes that were in flight also had to reroute quickly to avoid the skeet of Elongated Muskrat's rocket toy. And so the agency told them, you can't fly anymore because you didn't just endanger people on the ground, you endangered other planes. You could have had another crash, and this was before that Sean Duffy from Real World Boston gets in charge of the transportation department. And essentially, we've had plane crashes every week Ever since these people came into office, it's like a crash a week. And so the agency, which has a tagline that says safety drives everything we do at the FAA, that's according to the agency's chief counsel, they had proposed $633,000 worth of fines for violations related to 2 previous launches because many of his rockets, the little rocket dildos, blow up. They're not that successful. And I mean, not to say take anything from the successes that they do have, but those successes are fueled by our tax dollars. And the failures are also fueled by our tax dollars. And so we, the people, should be able to have an agency that says your stuff ain't safe. You're not allowed to fly anymore. And they did. But then Elongated Muskrat was allowed access to power. And as a result of that, now Elongated Muskrat is regulating the agency that was regulating Elongated Muskrat. This is insanity. This is insanity. But again, they're not all powerful. They're not the masters of the universe. Many of them are terrible. I don't know if you got a chance to catch the reviews of Pete, his own mama said he's trash, Hegseth, when he appeared on the world stage last week, embarrassing himself, having to walk things back. I know he said that he wasn't going to drink anymore if he got this position. The level of stress that man is bringing on himself and the failures he is bringing to the United States military and his representation thereof on the world stage, somebody needs to check the cups and make sure he's not on a bender. God, pray for the man, because Lord knows the safety of the nation kind of depends on having competent people in those positions. These folks aren't that great. This is why we have been referring to them as WEI hires. They're not that good. They're good at what they're good at. They're not good at a lot of other things. They're not all powerful. And we got to be mindful of that. Remember that. And don't give them authority in your own mind. Don't make them bigger in your own mind than they actually are in real life, because they're not that great. Make America great again? Ha ha! Nah, I'm with that lady who said make America follow the Constitution again.